Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lipo, one of many teleseminars that we're bringing to you live today. And today we have a very special guest speaker. He is one of our rock stars in Lipo, and I'm going to turn the call now over to Dr. Michael Renzulli, and he will give him a proper introduction. I hope you have a pen and paper out and you're going to be taking notes because you will want to glean every drop of what he has to say. Dr. Michael.
Hi, everyone. Welcome, everyone, both now live. What are we at? September 24th, 2013, as well as people who are listening to this recording. Welcome. Joe, let's make sure everyone is muted. I appreciate it. So I'm here we have as a very special guest to us, it's Mr. Rob Hollis. He comes from an engineering background and has been actually working initially with Zerona very successfully. So he's got all his protocols down. He understands the clinical results. He understands the patient psychology. He understands people. Even though he comes from an engineering background, he understands people very well. And as we all know, any business is a people business, but especially this business when you're dealing with often emotional issues, or something as intimate as a body, self-image. It's truly a people-oriented business. So Rob now he just purchased his third piece of equipment. So he's growing and growing and growing. And in fact, the last we've spoken, his biggest challenge, his biggest quote-unquote problem was he has too many leads to process properly. Basically, there's too many people who are interested in Lipo. And so his biggest challenge is learning to efficiently and with the greatest return on investment of his time and money to process these people properly. So he is truly a gentleman. He's very intelligent. He's always refreshing to speak to, both as a businessman and as a person. We are sincerely lucky and blessed to have him with us. Mr. Rob Hollis, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you so much, Michael, and thank you so much, Jill, as well. And just to give you a little bit of background, my background is in engineering, and what that means is I love to solve problems. It's in my nature to solve problems. And when we first took a look at this industry, we realized that, wait a second, this stuff looks really, really cool. But then we started looking into it to see how are people getting results, who are getting it. Because at first, when you take a first look at it from a customer standpoint, you think, well, that's just too good to be true. How can you lay on a table, get some light shone upon your on your skin, and lose weight or lose inches? It just doesn't make sense. But after some internet research, we found that some people were getting great results, some people were not getting great results. And from there, what we did is we solved the problem of how do you get really good results. And the way we did that, we didn't go out and try to reinvent the wheel. We found people like Michael and Jill that would show us how do you get the best out of these treatments. There's a lot of clinics that you can go to these days, and they'll just sell you treatments. I definitely encourage each and every one of you to not be that clinic. Be a clinic that is truly interested in that person's, your client's results. And if you focus on the results, everything else will come. And so we adopted mentor spas and mentors across the U.S. to actually just find out where are they doing right and avoid doing the things that other spas were doing wrong. The other thing that we did when we opened up is we really took a hard look at customer service. We did visit a number of other spas here in San Antonio, and we realized that people just weren't being treated quite right. And so we definitely wanted to create an environment here that people felt like they were coming home. We specifically set our spa up to look more homish as opposed to clinical. We do follow clinical practices. We do make it a very scientific approach to recommending a number of treatments. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But when you walk in, you feel comfortable, you feel disarmed, We don't have a conference table or like an exam desk to sit down and talk back and forth across. We've got a living room sofa and the table and chairs, sort of like a nice, cozy setting. It's very disarming for the client, and we can start to get into some of the emotional concerns as to why they're here to begin with. And so all that went into our focus into how do we create the proper environment for our clients to come in and feel comfortable and obviously want to do business with us. Now, then there comes the question of how do you bring customers in to begin with? And to be quite honest with you, when we first started 2 years ago, we were kind of green in this. Now, we knew how to run businesses. We knew how to start businesses. I've done this for like the past 10 years, but we haven't done it in this space. So what we did is what a lot of newbies do. We resorted to the Groupons and the living socials. And I tell you what, they kept us busy for a while. But there gets to be a point in time when you've got to graduate on from doing Groupons and living socials because they're not going to keep your doors open forever. You've got to have referral programs in place. You've got to know how to do marketing on your own and get your name out there. So let's talk a little bit about Groupons, living socials, daily deals to get your name out there. The one thing I would really encourage you to do along those lines is to think of them as lead generation as opposed to sales. Now, the big difference is I've seen quite a few Lipolite deals out there where they'll sell 2, 4, 6 treatments on Groupon. And that's ridiculous. I mean, when we run a Groupon for Lipolite, it's a single treatment. When someone comes in, we have the opportunity to upsell them to 2 or 3 or 4 or 6. Think of every client that comes in through Groupon, you're paying Groupon a finder's fee, and it's a percentage of the sale. So if you can keep your sales low that you do through Groupon, think of it as a finder's fee for the lead, do it for lead generation, and then when they come in, that's when you start providing a full sales pitch to them. I hate to put it that way, but that's really what it is. You don't come across as a sales pitch. You try not to do that, but it really is a sales pitch whenever they come in. And that's your opportunity to extend their series up to the 6 or 9 or even more if you want to, if they need it. So
the point is to try to do as little visits as possible, just to get them, just like a teaser introductory. That's what you're saying, right?
Absolutely. In other ways that you can do outreach, each one of your spas has a personality. Find out what your personality is. Find out what you're focusing on. And to be quite honest with you, it took us maybe about a year to find that identity for ourselves. We found out that our focus was, and our forte was, body slimming and weight loss. And so that's where we started coming out to the market. We do offer other services, but whenever you're speaking to the public, you want to consider yourself speaking to a single person. Who are you targeting? As you target that person, it can be a wide group of people, but at the same time, you're not trying to talk to people who want Botox versus people who want weight loss, people versus people who want all the other different services. When you send out a message, it needs to be focused so it's not confusing to the person who's receiving it. So whenever you put out your Lipolite advertisements, you are speaking to a specific demographic, a specific group of people. They want to interact with a person as well. So as you put the name of your spa out there, it actually behooves you to put yourself out there as well if you can. Do blog posts, do video posts. The number 1 search engine on the internet is Google. The number 2 search engine is YouTube. There are ways that you can put up your YouTube video and then link them back to your site. Whenever you do that, it actually generates what they call a backlink back to your site. So the search engines start to pick that up, and your site grows in importance when it comes to internet searches. So you can, it's pretty easy to shoot a video yourself. Just give a tour of your spa. Perhaps get a video testimonial from one of your clients that has done phenomenal with Lipolite. Ask them for a signed waiver or agreement to let them post that video on the web, and then put it up on YouTube. start a collection of those if you can, and have in the description link each one of them back to your site. Whenever you find posts such as the one Jill just sent out about the one that was in the New York Times about liposuction, golly, we see so many people coming in that say, you know what, I found you guys because I was on the internet last night or over the weekend and I looked for liposuction. And I saw you guys. I saw that it was non-invasive, so I decided to come visit you. We've made several sales like that. And Jill, thank you for sending out that article. I tell you, I've had that on our website for several months now, actually, and it works. So go ahead and put that on each one of your websites as well, because it works. When someone's looking for liposuction, they'll find you. If they like something that's non-invasive, they'll probably give you a call.
So constantly add value, add content. So you basically to certainly do a welcome, just like maybe even 90-second welcome intro video of yourself. Welcome to our facility. Speak to an individual person. You're saying, even though we're looking at a large group of people, speak to the person speak to the market as if they're an individual person, and really try to make that connection. And it may seem counterintuitive to know that you have this service, but instead of being all things to all people, the more you can focus and hone exactly your specific niche, the deeper and the much more rapidly you'll be able to attract and draw people to you. Is that what you're saying, Rob?
Exactly. If you say too much of all the other things that you do, people will tune out. But if you can be focused on the area that you want to promote at that particular time, then you'll draw more people's attention.
So obviously you're a big believer in organic traffic to your website.
Oh, absolutely. People more and more these days are looking to the Internet to find the answers. And one of the most difficult things to do at this point in time is to pull people out of cyberspace and into your spa. A lot of times we see people come to the website, and I've got ways to just track and monitor and actually see people walk through my website in real time. I see them poking around. I see them doing things. So recently, we actually added a live chat feature. And with the live chat, as someone's poking around on every page, they're presented with a, hey, can I help you find what you're looking for? Someone who's there, right there, all the time, 24/7. And whether it be in the middle of the night, in the middle of the afternoon, if I'm completely swamped here at the spa, someone can still pick up that live chat. And I've trained that staff so they know how to talk about lipolite and lipolysis and how to talk down about liposuction, those sorts of things. And they can answer those questions for my clients or for my prospects. And I've even given the ability to drop new appointments on my schedule. So there's been times when I've woken up in the morning and I find out, oh, this afternoon I've got a new sales opportunity that I didn't have to do anything additional to bring in. And they're on my schedule. I come in and boom, we've got a new client. Pretty good high-paying client as well. Part of what
a high-paying client. Wow, and that's probably a huge difference from somebody coming in off a Groupon looking for the deal, looking for the discount, right? It's probably a big qualitative difference in how much money that person is willing to pay because they know.
Yeah. For example, to put some of all this together, try to draw a circle around it, we had that liposuction article from the New York Times posted on our site. And actually, this really just happened this past weekend. Someone did a search for liposuction. They found our article. They read it. They saw our page. They went to our site, obviously. They saw the live chat. So they pulled up a live chat session, and one of our guys started chatting with them. All this without me knowing it or having to monitor it. Through that live chat, they got the questions answered. They decided, I'm going to go ahead and book a consultation, and they booked it. I got the transcript of that full conversation, so I was able to see all their hot points, all their buttons, all the things that they were really interested in, what they were looking for. I knew that they were looking for liposuction before they even walked through my front door. So if they're looking at liposuction, you can guarantee that they're looking at something that's going to be a 5-figure thing. So instead of trying to get a few $100 deal like a Groupon person would, they're actually going to be quite pleased with something that's only 4 figures, especially if it's non-invasive, not going to cause downtime, and has all the benefits that LipoLite has to offer. So not that I would upcharge them, but I do know that I can offer them a larger package because they're coming in with the expectation of paying a whole lot more than someone who's coming in off a Groupon. I gathered all this information because they had this live chat conversation. They did what they call a cyber hug, where over the internet they can really find out the emotional profile of that person. So as soon as they walk through my door, I know everything there is to know about them relative to making a good and appropriate sale to them. So that's been
so that emotional profile is similar to what we speak about when you understanding the 8 psychological, emotional needs of the patient. Same concept. So this live chat person, what you're saying is you're able to profile them. You have to understand exactly where their emotional needs are. So they come in, boom. I mean, it's beautiful that you can have this capability to understand them. You're pulling them right out of cyberspace and right into your door.
Now all that just works all the way, funnels everything into bringing someone into my consultation room. So far, we've done just a little bit of things to help out with SEO, search engine optimization. We talked a little bit about YouTube links. We haven't talked a bit about backlinking and content. Those are things that you might need to have a second service do for you because that's actually some pretty extensive work. But things like videos on YouTube, linking back to your site, that's something that you can do on your own. Getting people to the site, getting people engaged and hooked while they're on your site, because guaranteed, if they're on your site in the middle of the night, they're going to go to someone else's site in the middle of the night as well. And you want the appointment booked with you, not with the other guy who doesn't have anything. So we've got web forms to fill out. We've got live chat. We even have a 24/7 phone receptionist. But actually, the live chat has been the absolute best because the telephone guys, all they can really do is take a message. The live chat guys, they can hook and engage and actually do that cyber hug with them. So
you were saying to me, Rob, that with the live chat feature, these people, it kind of feels anonymous, like being online, so they're able to pour their heart out to tell them exactly what's going on with them, how they really feel, what's happening. So often they reveal so much about themselves that maybe they wouldn't normally do that in person.
Yeah, exactly, especially over the phone. But once someone comes in and I've got some of those things in hand, the first thing that we do is we do a body composition analysis. We like to go by body fat percentage. If you don't have a body fat percentage scale, then you go by body mass index. Body mass index is easy enough to calculate from your height and the height and the weight. There's online calculators to do it. From the BMI, you can actually, quote-unquote, scientifically determine the number of treatments that would be appropriate for that person. So if someone is coming in, let's say someone did buy a Groupon, and they come in and they've got, 35% body fat, but they got a one-treatment Groupon. That person knows, that they're going to need more than a single treatment to be satisfied with the results from LipoLite. And so you can show them empirically, this is what you need. This is what people at that particular body fat percentage typically do. And you can go from your own empirical data. You can come up with charts and sort of adjust them as you go along. I would go by your own results and what you're observing in your clinic. But from there, you can make a case as to why. This is why you might need 9 treatments as opposed to the one that you got on Groupon. Of course, you'll get questions like, well, am I not going to see any results if I don't do 9 treatments? I said, no, it's just that the more that you do, the more you put in, the more you get out. And that's true with anything in life. And people understand that. So once we have done the body composition analysis, we'll sit down and we'll also talk about, well, why are you here? Is there some event coming up? If we have the chat transcript, I might touch on that a little bit. I don't always kind of reveal that I know their whole back history. I might just give a hint to something that they mentioned on chat and then let them divulge it to me so they don't feel like they were ratted out by by the live chat people. And then they divulge. They tell me. I mean, some of the stories that people tell me is just amazing. A little heart-wrenching at times, but at the same time, you realize they're pretty emotional about slimming down. If they get that emotional, you know that you really have a strong opportunity to help them, not just in terms of making a really good sale, but also improving their life. We had a woman in just a couple of days ago, and she said, "You know what? I'm recently divorced. I gained a lot of weight after the divorce, and at this point, I'm ready to put my life back together, and getting my body slimmer is part of that. And I know that if I can do this for myself, I'm going to win out in social circles." And I was like, "All right, let's go. Let's do this. Let's get this done, and we can definitely help." And so once you have that sort of emotional buy-in, it really makes the job a whole lot easier. As long as you're being fair in your pricing, realistic in your expectations, and what you project for that person, you just made a win-win situation, a perfect relationship between client and clinic, and that's the best type of relationships to have.
I would imagine that you probably have a very high patient satisfaction percentage.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll do things like, let's say someone's getting close to the end of their treatment, and we know that we've got a little bit of extra. We know that the next scheduled treatment, if they would have had another treatment, we've got some availability. We might say something like, hey, Janice, would you like this additional spot? It doesn't cost us anything extra. No, it's not taking it because we know that we don't have it scheduled. The person that we offer to is like, wow, you would really do that for me. It boosts their results. It makes them love you even more, and it makes them want to spread the word about you even more as well.
So what you're saying is at the end of treatment, you say, you know what, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to give you an extra treatment. Is that what you just said?
Well, I might do that. I don't do that all the time. It's not just a given that I'm going to do that. If they've been a particularly good client, and some clients are very gracious. Some clients are just like, I can't wait for them to not be my client anymore.
Right.
Just those certain personalities. If someone has gotten along really great with my staff, they've followed the protocols, I know that I'm not going to be wasting a treatment by giving them an extra one. I know I'm going to improve already fantastic results. And yeah, there's a few factors that I would personally put into that before I make that decision, so I don't just do it willy-nilly. But for those who have earned it. Yeah.
I know another clinic, what they'll do on their next to last treatment. Actually, I know a couple of people. On their next to last treatment, they'll say, I see you doing really well here. If on your final visit, you continue and you lose an additional inch or two, whatever you may have be, on your last visit, if I see when we do a measurement that you continued and you were good with everything else you're doing, and you lose an additional inch, I'm going to give you even another one. So now they're highly motivated to end the treatment in a very positive note. The last session being a freebie. So they're very, it's just a really good technique to end it positively.
Awesome. I like that.
So let me ask you, in terms of, you spoke earlier about, you went about the business of studying how to get the very, very best results. Mm-hmm. What did you discover about that? What can you share in terms of truly focusing on giving the very best results?
Now, granted, some of this is from 2 years ago, and some of it is common practice now, but things like the vibration plate. We not only did we get one, we got two, and not only did we get two, but we also invite people to come in between their treatments. So if we're having someone in every other day, we'll tell them, even on your off days, you can come in and use our Vibratrims and get in a 10-minute workout. I'd rather them do that than skip a workout completely. Oh, I'm too busy, I can't do this, yada, yada, yada. Well, come in for 10 minutes. Use a Vibratrim. You don't have to change. You're not going to have to get into your workout clothes or anything. Just stop it on your way home or on your way to work and get in your getting your vibration workout. So things like that. Things like how someone's going to work out. And this is actually something that we've kind of learned on our own. If someone tries to work out too hard during these processes, like maxing out their heart rate and going all the way to the top of and pushing themselves all the way to the max, that actually doesn't do you a whole lot of good. Doing a really good workout, you actually want to stay in the fat-burning to aerobic range. If you start to get into an anaerobic range, especially if you're simultaneously depriving yourself of carbs, we've actually seen it where people will deplete their own lean muscle. They won't lose any fat because they're working out too hard in the absence of carbs coming into their body. And even with something fantastic as lipolite, they're doing themselves more harm than good. So it's a matter of, it's a good balance between the carbs that you're taking in. If you are going to push, the client is going to push themselves in the gym, then they have to take in the carbs to support that. If they're going to keep it at a moderate level, fat-burning, low aerobic level, then, yeah, you can taper back on the carbs and let the body feed the energy from the fat cells, what we release with lipolite. It's this mode that we actually recommend for people. Because if you start doing too more, or if you don't do enough, then your results will definitely decline.
Understood. Do you also offer some kind of detox or nutrition at all as a support?
We offer a cleanse. Jill has actually recommended a good cleanse that's actually really, really good. For someone who's looking to make even more major strides than we can do with just lipolysis alone, we offer a ketogenic diet called Ideal Protein. That's been a phenomenal addition to our whole arsenal of services. A lot of people take a look at that and they decide, you know what, I really don't want to do a diet plan, but they still want to lose weight all over. They want to lose a whole lot more than we would do with just one modality. And so at that point, we might say, well, if you're not going to do the diet plan, then you might want to start combining modalities. And that's actually really another favorite topic of mine, is combining lipolite with other things.
Well, speak about that. What is your favorite?
My favorite is combining lipolite with Zerona. Zerona is an overall body slimming laser. That's what we opened up with. And our original business plan was to only provide Zerona services. As we got into it, as we started to provide it, yes, we got really good results with it, but people were still saying, some of my trouble spots are still there. I didn't get the accelerated loss where I really wanted, like inner thigh, the arms. These are areas that are actually pretty tough for Zerona to treat. So we found that if someone's not going to do our diet plan with Zerona, then we invariably say, well, then you've got to at least do lipolite with it. And with lipolite, we can attach the pads to different extremities of the body, like to the thighs and to the arms, while Zerona is treating the trunk, the torso. And in doing so, we get amazing results overall. Sometimes we'll follow up the ab treatment on Zerona with an ab treatment with lipolite. We like to do that with guys who've got a particularly tough, gut, that Zerona on its own is going to have a hard time breaking down and getting through. But we found that we get some really, really great results. People dropping a lot of that gut area by doing a follow-up lipolite treatment in that area after Zerona. But one of the nice things about it is that you can do lipolite and Zerona at the exact same time, which means you're not taking up any extra room time to service that. And for us, we got an additional lipolite. So now, in the room sitting there, when someone's doing Zerona, the lipolite machine is sitting there as well. Now, I can sell an additional package and have them do it, but if they're just doing Zerona, quite honestly, the lipolite machine is sitting there because the room's taken. So I can actually offer the lipolite as an additional add-on without charging them a whole lot extra because they're already paying a premium for the room. That makes a little bit extra, they get a lot better results. They feel like they're getting a really good deal, and they are, because I might slash the lipolite treatment, the cost of that treatment in half, since they're combining it with another modality. So
we've heard this from many people. Same thing. And,
we like to pre-treat. If anyone's doing radio frequencies, we use a process called Venus Freeze. We like to pre-treat the area with lipolite. It helps break down the cells, helps break down the fat, and it gives Venus Freeze a better opportunity to do the skin tightening over top. I thought it was funny. Venus Freeze recently did a spot on Rachel Ray, where one of the doctors says, said after 6 treatments, 1.5 months, Venus Freeze was able to reduce the circumference of the abs by 1.5 inches. And I'm like thinking, you're bragging about that? I like I will do that in 1 treatment. So whenever someone comes in and says, "Oh yeah, I heard about Venus Freeze for circumferential reduction," we'll say, "Well, it's good for skin tightening. But if you want to do circumferential reduction, we actually sell them over to lipolite, and then maybe we'll even tack on Venus Freeze for the skin tightening, because that's part of what they're interested in as well." And so we actually get a double sale out of that, because they were just looking for Venus Freeze. So lipolite has just been so versatile. You can use it by itself. You can use it with other services, and that's why we love it so much.
I understand, and I totally agree. I'm a big proponent of using it as combination therapy, just like you're speaking about. That machine, by the way, costs about, what, $80,000, right? How much is that machine?
Yeah, it depends. The ones that we're selling a couple of years ago were about $65, and the new ones are about $80.
It's not a small number. And what kind of packages can you sell on that? I'm curious.
On Venus Freeze?
Yes.
You mean lipolite combined packages? We like to, one of the things we like to do is what we call a non-invasive tummy tuck. Whereas
nice.
We'll go in with lipolite. We'll treat for circumferential reduction. Lipolite, we'd like to do that 2 or 3 times per week. And then once a week, we'll follow the lipolite treatment with the Venus Freeze treatment that helps with the skin tightening. So when we do that over a number of weeks, we see that reduction, that lift, the reduction in circumference, the smoothing of the skin, actually becomes a really, really nice treatment. The other thing that we do is cellulite. So Venus Freeze, it says, we're going to help take care of the cellulite. There's 2 parts to the cellulite problem. One is you've got the fibrous tissue that's underneath the skin connecting to the skin on various points. So when you look at the skin on top, the dimples that you see are the fibers, the connect points of the fibrous tissue, and then the mattress effect comes from the fat that's pressing up through in between those fibrous tissues, fibrous points. So doing lipolite to reduce the fat layer, and then using skin tightening over top to tighten the skin, it makes for an inside-out, outside-in approach to reducing cellulite.
So clinically, you get tremendous results with this cellulite, doing it in combination therapy.
Absolutely.
I would imagine, what is the typical package on something like that?
Wow.
You're probably looking at $3,200, probably, something, right?
We can start to get up there. With Venus Freeze, it is per leg, and you're actually with that person for the duration of that treatment. Whereas with lipolite, you press a button and you walk away. With Venus Freeze, it's more like a massage that you're
it's attended. Yeah, that's the downside.
So not only is it tying up the room, it's also tying up one of my techs. So I have to charge a little bit more for that. But someone will come in, they'll do the lipolite treatment on both legs at the same time, and then they'll do Venus Freeze treatment, one leg 25 minutes, the other leg 25 minutes. My tech's tied up for an hour in the room, plus clean up and tear down. It can get to be pretty expensive, but it's a nice service, it's a nice process.
Oh yeah, it's all about the results. So let me ask you, I don't want to go off the topic, but I was just curious. You probably have experience with the cavitation as well, right?
We do have ultracavitation here in the spa. It's actually run by one of our estheticians. I personally don't do much with ultracavitation myself, but
just for the benefit of the listeners here, basically it's like an ultrasound. It's a tended therapy. How do you like the results compared to, say, LipoLite?
No comparison. No comparison at all. LipoLite is just, heads and shoulders above what ultracavitation can do.
Of course, I know that, but I just want to know your perspective.
Yeah,
because I've seen this all over the country.
We actually don't sell a whole lot of ultracavitation. We just.
Oh, by the way, everyone, if somebody says, well, down the block they're offering cavitation or ultrasound, well, you just know. I want you to really feel a sense of confidence knowing that your results are far superior.
Yeah. One of the things that I kind of pay attention to, LipoLite, there's some built-in protection just from the physics of it. And again, coming from the engineering perspective, you've got opaque tissue underneath your fat, which means the LipoLite's not going to go any deeper than your muscle wall. With ultracavitation, it's ultrasound. It's going all the way through your body. And, the long-term tests and everything, it just isn't there. But with the effects of LipoLite, with the effects of these photonic-based services, it can only go as deep as the muscle wall, which means all of your internal organs and everything is naturally protected.
Nice. So, just for everyone's illumination, we're actually working on coming out with Route here, working on coming out with a service for our doctors and facilities around the country to drive traffic to your office. We're actually working on this very same thing as we speak in an affordable price. And as you know, these are all big-ticket items, so even one sale per month is easily worth even, the price of some kind of quality, industry-specific search engine optimization or driving organic traffic to your website, coupling with something like a live chat where you're capturing the emotional profile of that patient, bring them in the door so they're coming in the door. You understand exactly where their heart is at. It's just a very powerful tool to just generate so much more sales. It's very predictable. I think you were telling me that, Robert. This is all very predictable.
Yeah. Like I said, even whether it be the treatments that you're talking about to your clients or the marketing that you're doing on your own, the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. And when we start looking at trying to draw masses to our websites and to our spas, sometimes it does take massive action to make that happen. But there's smart ways to do massive action. There's not so smart ways to do it. And the smart ways are to leverage technologies, leverage approaches that sort of ease the burden on you while also capturing and hooking and engaging each one of those clients that you want to target.
So we can look forward to that. So this is being developed as we speak. So that's only going to benefit absolutely everyone with the Rob's help here. Okay, thank you, my friend. As usual, you've been a breath of fresh air. You're a great person as well.
Oh, thank you so much.
So, thank you, everyone. Next Tuesday, it'll be the same time. Next Tuesday, normally our trainings are on Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern. They're recorded. What we had last week was Friday with Dawn, only because that was the only time she was available. But normally on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock, keep an eye out for it. It will basically be the same, either location here or a teleseminar room, or rather a webinar room will be the same. So you can just click right into it each time. Thank you, everyone. All right. Anything, certainly we're available for you. You can go to the website, LipoLite Pro. And we don't have anybody in lab chat to capture your emotional profile by yet, but that'll be coming. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed day.
Rob, thank you so much for today.
Joe, just unmuted everyone so everyone can say goodbye.